Hi everyone, welcome into the space. How are you feeling? I'm gonna change the lighting really quickly. Sorry, I just feel like I look so like there's just like a shadow of my eyes. Who did this? Oh. A little moodier, but it's kind of more appropriate for how I'm feeling. Yeah, I like that a little better. I don't really care what you girls have to say about it. Maybe I'll put on this one too. There we go. Okay, babes. Okay. So obviously God has had us on a little bit of a spiritual messaging pause for some time now. I got sort of banned on the YouTube a couple weeks ago, and it kind of really hurt my feelings. And it was a really racist, unfortunate. I think it just depressed me because, I'm not pro or against any technology because you don't really have a control in it, so it doesn't really matter in that regard. Like, I think some of the things that are being created and designed by people, the right to design and create is like what protects their right for those things to be. But again, you getting roped into bad karma and like overcomplicating life is your choice as well. So you can't really take blood money from institutions, and then when those institutions are connected to innovations that are tapping into those institutions, and you're somehow like, oh, all of a sudden I want to live upright and live like a sovereign individual. Like, you weren't worried about that when you were like taking millions in contracts to just be like a capitalist. So no one really has any sympathy for you girls who are crying AI now. But one of the things that I was a little upset about is that I do really hate that sometimes even humans program AI. And so since humans unfortunately are obviously still participating in like racist slavery systems, I feel like there are a lot of those human touches that are showing up in artificial intelligence just because they're studying human behavior. So I always worry about how, AI observing racism kind of reminds me of like the heartbreak I feel when like children observe it for the first time, or like introduce it to the first time, or you have to like explain like, why did they just take this down disproportionately because the skin color is this way versus that way. It's like whatever. But I say so much crazy shit on my platform, and the only post I've been on YouTube since 2008, and I've never had any issues with the platform in terms of censorship, because I tend to try to really respect, like, if I'm going to use the platform, I try to be like intentional and educated about what that platform offers and why I would be participating and putting my business within it. So it was kind of just like a little heartbreaking, and I've kind of just been a little upset. And I think it was kind of the name of the game for me, Gemini season. Like, I feel like there were a lot of things that I really feel like I built a capacity over the last 30 days for. So things like, interactions with like police and law enforcement, like in my spirit, like just knowing what that institution really existed as in history, and that it still exists, like those are triggers. And so there were just certain times where like this past 30 days I've like had to just like remove myself from spaces. Like, this wasn't the month where I like fought back or was like, oh, like I'm gonna like compromise like how my nervous system feels just to like tell you that I don't like that you're being racist. Like, I literally just like something was coming up systemic, or something was coming up that was just like discriminatory or just like disheartening or heartbreaking or shattering. It's just like I just like remove myself from it, because this month I just really didn't have it, because I guess you guys don't think I really run this business by myself for real. I pay for everything on my own, no handouts. So yeah, so I work more than the average person, I think you guys know, to run like kind of a like 24-hour broadcast. Kind of just always have to be available when it's time to share God's work. So I just thank you guys so much for the last few weeks. Just, yeah, I've been having just the most insane transformation of my life. So much of this commitment, though, on this archive, specifically with the Holy Cow messaging, is like deeply personal moments that actually are the foundation to what has like geared some sort of transformation. But they're usually like those quiet moments of just like times when I had to like think about what just happened to me. Like, half the time, the things that evolve your soul is like when you actually just process in your brain or in your feelings like that some sort of thing just impacted you. And so I was going through a lot of that in the last 30 days, which was extremely activating for me, and just required me to show up and make sure that I'm giving myself first and foremost the love that I could be prepared to give to a lot of things. And since meditating on that, I've truly transitioned from some of the bondages of my focus, because there are a lot of people right now who are really manipulating the fact that they know that they know that spiritually, like, I'm an open receptor. So like I'm a giant orifice. So it's like people do know that if they focus on me hard enough, if the least of it is they get like my decision and my determination to like decide whether I want this to stop or not. But nonetheless, I get pulled on quite often, and in ways that I think is very unethical and disrespectful to me. So just so you know, you can put on a mask in real life, and that's fine. You're putting on a mask in real life. I'm not doing the fucking Judy B. Jones fucking excavating your shit up like it's Goosebumps, bitch. No. Okay, fine. You want to put on a mask, whatever. But like genuinely what I've been asking for people to fucking lay off with is like, if you're not going to enact any position, focusing all of your energy internally. It doesn't matter that no one can see how much focus is actually going on to me, but like on the other end of how much you're focusing on me, I can also feel that, you know what I mean? And so at the same time, like you know, when it comes to connection in general into the future, it's like the connection, the desire, the focus can be there. Like I can be focused on this person for positive or for negative reasons, right? But the ways that I think I've been just like so nauseated during my onset Saturn return frequencies was just like, you know, the lack of commitment for people to really participate in what a dynamic is, even if the dynamic is like, we're going to be ops. And I think a lot of people for a long time have been riding this sort of fence of like, I don't want to disclose myself as an op or a whatever. And when you get around energy like me, if you don't want to disclose, if you don't want to take the effort to be a good person in my life and show up as a good person in my life by like doing the very simple things that I say would help me feel more secure that you're a safe individual, then like that just means you're an op, because it's not hard. Like it, again, you know, one of the best things that I was really saying is like, I have been also taking my space because I've been delivered one of the biggest dreams of my life. And in the same ways that I'm transforming, my husband is also transforming radically. And he has transformed into this vision of a husband, like kind of like what my inner child always like really prayed for. And, you know, one of the covenants and commitments of marriage for me is being used as a sort of transformative mirror. So it's like through the marriage, you can gift yourselves because you've fused your energy with your sex rituals. It's like over time, our energy has fused in such a way that, you know, what we become and what we transform into because of the influence of the other partner's energy is so beautiful. And when I look at my husband, I see a man that he's so in love with, but it makes me feel forever in him, because it's like this person is arriving at a whole new, like they've never been this person before. It's nothing to do with what it was. It doesn't even have anything to do with like, those things are dead and gone. But this person really loves who they are today a lot more than actually like any version they've ever been before. Even if before they felt like they had more freedom of expression because they weren't like traumatized or post-trauma. And, you know, I was just looking at Dennis and he like really loves who he is, but he also like deeply knows that like there is no second life without my influence. Like it's a very romantic time for me right now because, you know, Dennis is just so like visibly, it's just like so clear to me how much like, I don't know, I feel like when I made the covenant to God, like to be honest with you guys, like I did not always consider myself someone who was like intentionally trying to be a decent person or a good person. And I got my karma because my best friend killed herself, and that was very humbling. And after that, I really realized that I hadn't, in like a really long time, I think about how many people are on the planet and like how many times God's like asking if any one of these bitches that they spent so much time creating would like help them like solve a global challenge or like solve a problem that humanity keeps making by like allowing their vessel to be something that God can utilize to like facilitate the solution through your mind, your conscious effort, your willpower, your hands, whatever. And sometimes I get so sad because, well, what really woke me up was I realized like how many years I could go never like volunteering, you know? And I guess like I wasn't really like a awesome person like all the time. Like it was pretty self-centered, you know, and also low vibrational. So it was like I was never thinking about how important people who have an awareness, an accurate awareness of their own gratitude have surplus, and that surplus can be used as volunteered time, give something given to move something forward. It is to cover the payment or the cost or the debt that could exist if something can't meet it. But now, because there's volunteers who have already preemptively given enough, there's more. And when I got introduced into that from a place of thinking about how I could volunteer myself to like do something for God, when I came across Dennis, to be honest with you, I felt the like obviously soul, like whatever, but I hadn't really awoken yet, so I didn't really remember that we were soulmates or anything. Like, so when I was meeting him, it woke me up, but I was just feeling these really strong emotions and like out of body, like I can't even be around this person, like unless, so it was really great that we were able to just go ahead and jump right into like connecting as intimately and as intensely and as deeply as we wanted to, because I don't really even know what we would do if that wasn't possible. It would just probably be a problem. And then, but it was like after meeting, or in that moment of meeting him, it was like I really had to be appropriate. And I think, you know, I really do define myself. I don't think I'm an awesome person, but I do know I'm a decent woman, because I definitely know that I never felt included in the gender as a child. And so I feel like I have a respect for womanhood because I never felt like I could, or like I participated well in it. I still don't feel that way often. But I love women so much because, duh, but yeah. So I've had so many wonderful reflections. But yeah, I think I realized I actually was a decent woman when I realized that not a lot of people would have chose to do what I did with Dennis. I remember telling him, I was like, I don't even care what like capacity you want me in. Like, obviously, like I didn't even think this person was in my league, to be honest with you, like at all. When I met him, I was like, oh, okay, it's not you, a little bit of rage. Because he was from this like dreamscape. Like, I was so obsessed with Atlanta, but it was like very foreign to me. I didn't know anything. Like, I didn't know Atlanta in person. I just like knew I knew what I like, the arts and culture that I was connected to from Atlanta, but it's like I didn't know anything localized about Atlanta. Atlanta was just like this mecca to me, and I was like, whoa, he's from Atlanta, like fuck. And I just felt like he was just like I felt like he made me really feel like, oh my god, I'm such a small town country girl. It's like, I don't know. Yeah, I didn't think I could like, and then again, I was asleep, so I didn't remember, like, bitch, this is not real. This is a simulation. This is your like soul incarnate, like in another body. You're good. Like, but I'm telling you the romantic part of it, because the truth of it was, at the time, it felt like this guy, but you know, he was in a high accountability halfway house. You know, it's not exactly like easy experience. And I really think about how, as a woman in that moment, I had the conversation with him, because I could just see, obviously, also at that time, he was a very different person. So he had a very different nervous system and had very different communication and just programming. And he was also institutionalized against his will. So in a like brainwashing facility, like a Dr. Phil type of brainwashing facility. Anyway, so he was in a he was really out of it, and he was like visually sick and visually had spiritual maladies, and a lot of things were going on when I met my husband. And I just remember telling him, I was like, look, dude, like, I don't even really care like what speed this needs to go at in terms of you and I, because the one thing that was really notable about Dennis was that I felt like he was a type of energy that is just would be incredible to be included in my life regardless. Like, obviously, yeah, romantically that would have been great, but even at that time, I had never had any experience with feeling like a conqueror in a romantic space. Like, I'd never had like confidence romantically. So like, even if I liked people, like I had no experiences of like that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of these women who I've been holding accountable because they are the current discourse, you know, like, you girls sit up here and play victim, like, where are these randoms coming from? Like, I'm just such a dainty frail. You're literally one of the most mainstream, like you guys are holding the discourse. So if you want that, then that's what you're doing. So we're just going to ask you to check in. But again, one of the things that I'm really like telling like women, especially this whole internet woman, which is just like insane, which I just think it's a lot of like the most insecure women who came from homes that didn't know how to breed any sort of divine femininity, right? So it's not an isolated issue, but a lot of these women have gone into adulthood and have just become the biggest problem, bigger problems than their parents were, because, you know, they don't tell the honest truth about what girlhood really was for them. And, you know, any woman who goes up to you in 2026 and really genuinely doesn't have, like, just because a lot of you girls are out of touch, like the narrative that you present to people is that you've just had so much experience. It's like, I'm just really tired of it. There's just like a specific genre, culture, lane, life that has been just doing this very specific type of victimization that is like literally going to make me slit my own throat. I swear to you, I can't even explain to you. But it's this whole victimization that's just like, I'm so misunderstood. Like, I can't believe people think I have a high body count, but their like reputation or like, or even whether it's body count or whether it's like, you know, I actually don't get a lot of people, you know, I just love so deeply, but no one comes up to me. But then it's like, they give their, in practice, what they input, what they manifest, what they speak over, what they write in their work, what their art is. They think this is some fantasy play. You're placing yourself, your name, your vibration, your syllables, consonants, vowels, shaping sacred geometry you're verbalizing it into something concretized. You're using alchemical abilities. You're no different than the witches. You're not. But the reason you get so locked into these dynamics is because you're not telling the truth about how you really felt about things. There's a disconnect in the persona, because when we transform, old forms of ourselves really die. But what you girls are really doing is you're the same third grader. You're the same third grader that is going through these cycles and masking, not changing, masking. And so so now there's so many masks on top of what the experience of the third grader was. Because I can tell you what little Lexus, like I said, I just told you guys earnestly, like so many people sit up here and they meet me in 2026 and maybe they're upset because they found out about me because they think everyone's attention is on me right now. But what's disingenuous about that is that I will never sit up here and act like I was the black girl that y'all really was fucking with for real, romantically, ever. Ever, never in your life. But maybe what I'm really writing out and etching out is a new formula, a new scientific theory that says, so then what actually turns people on is actually the same ludicrous reverse psychology, cognitive dissonance, narcissistic babble where they wanted you to think up was down and down was up. Because now in 2026, what's mad hot? What's making bitches come unglued because they're so dead inside their whole shit is the bitch who wasn't ever accepted and is literally just having to default to like relying on whatever her genuine honest truth is. Like, right? Because I think you girls can tell it's like nothing motivates me or moves me around. Nothing can bait me out. No, I don't have FOMO to where I would make myself get up and jump and go do anything. Because I'm very in touch with like, you girls look stupid catching flights to do the impossible. I can't. Like, my reality is like, there's just, I can't do, like, I don't even, from my nervous system, like, it's like, I can't even pull up on you girls. Because my nervous system, there's just no way. Go where? I don't even like to have shit to do in the day. Like, I swear to you guys, you don't even know how hard it was for me to get to AutoZone today. Quarter mile up the road. I couldn't even, it's like, so, you know, I and that's what I mean. I just feel like my disposition right now is I've been really sticking to what and meditating over who I've been my whole life right now, because I really have to be honest about how much I do not relate to a lot of the people. A lot of people want my attention right now, going back to the whole pulling my attention, but I really do not relate to the life you live. I really mean that respectfully, but like, I don't really see a lot of commonality here, girls. And so genuinely, I'm so bullheaded and so slow. It's just like, I'm like, yeah, I don't do any of the things that you girls do though. So I'm going to need you to also respectfully realize that, like, if you're not going to take it another step further and be like, am I actually going to be connecting and bonding with Alexis, meeting her and fusing, or am I just going to put all this focus which affects her? Because it doesn't affect what I'm trying to do next, because what I'm trying to do next doesn't actually have to do with anyone else. It has to do with my very random normal life. But then it's like, these girlies are hyper projecting all this focus on me right now, but they're not understanding that it can't just be, I'm going to focus on Alexis and then be trying to do all these portals to get her to, I can't come out of my lane. So that's what I'm saying when I say like a lot of these people and things right now, it's just like, we're genuinely not aligned. And that's just what it needs to be. But I also really would kind of prefer that it was more obvious that like you girls are just like not always in constant dialogue with me subconsciously. Like, you don't really even realize how much you're always doing is influenced by everything I'm doing. And that is kind of what I was put on this earth to do, to clean up the stream of life, essentially. That we're all, purify the water, the cognitive, creative flow and artistic waters is what I'm here to do, like the Aquarius that I am. So I'm filtering it out, but at the same time, I just, I want that respect. So King of Swords and the Moon card. So a big boy truth, a big alignment. The King of Swords, I've been kind of getting this King of Swords and then this sort of revelation. I feel like there's a very big individuation that happened over Gemini season and it was not spoken, okay? So I already kind of told you girls this is like the era of like what the archetype of friend is really over, because in our society what we have ascribed friendship as has a depth that does not hold comprehensive foundational world building. So it would be a liability to place the archetype of something that is defined archetypally contemporarily as a friend in the place of something that has to be foundational. So like building something of any kind, business, life, partnership, foundationally, whatever brick you're laying, using a friend to do that is a liability. I would never suggest it, only because friend doesn't have the covenant that stitches, okay? It's still an opt-in or out, and a friend will always have the right to be like, I just don't even feel like answering my phone today for a friend. Because again, at the end of the day, you're gonna always go up to your friends and be like, I have a family or I have a kid. There's all these tiers. And so take it from someone who is friends with everyone, okay? What I really realized when I found Dennis was that, you know, I really was here to rewrite sort of like how we can define what we want to call people who are connected to us. You know, I do a lot of obvious like spiritual legislation and trying to find words, especially queer frameworks that kind of support people to understand that like a lot of queerness is also just about more options, more definitions, more expansiveness. It's just not about arriving at something as lucid and fluid as like something sexuality, because it's not finite. It's allowing the language to reflect the nature of the phenomena we're witnessing, and that is queerness, in my opinion, is more intellectual than heterosexuality. Not in the what you would call the nature-based reality, because queerness encompasses sex with opposing genitalia or different genitalia. Queerness encompasses that. You can be queer and also be having penis vagina sex. So you know what I'm saying? So I just think it's a bigger terminology that's more accurate. And I just feel like I'm an Aquarius, so I'm not going to go with a smaller defining word when there's a better vocabulary to more accurately define what phenomena is really going on when we're talking about sexuality. So those are all kind of the themes that I've been feeling about, because I feel like Gemini season, there was a lot of silent individuation where it was like a lot of group dynamics or a lot of you being in the context, and yet everyone could really tell that everyone in this group dynamic is having a unique one-of-one experience. It was also a very specific time where you have to be very much standing, just like you're being called to stand on your like genuine, authentic truth. And so this is where also, like, you know, I prepare you guys a lot with the language that I use. I know you guys usually think I'm extreme, but it was really helpful doing something like Gemini season of 2026, because, for example, if you've never heard someone let you know that, like, technically by default, like, pretty much everyone who contemporarily engages with, like, rap or hip-hop culture, for example, like, is complicit in, like, having like a very deeply internalized like level of like racism and shame, just because like so there's certain things where it's like, because it's just inauthentic, like just because like some of you guys dress and speak a certain way or hang out with certain types of people because you're aligned, your soul's there, but there are still systems that are in place that you haven't deconstructed that would allow your behavior to be more appropriate. So you're still operating using God matter, trying to operate in a system, which is not going to work. If you want to borrow and loan God stuff, you got to do God's system and not the man-made system. If you want the man-made system, then let man give you the shit. But that's why man's still giving you $7.25, and that's what you think you're worth, and that's why you're getting in a tizzy every day, right? So welcome to Cancer season. Those are some off the dome downloads. I feel like you guys are looking at me like you're literally the goated scary girl. So let me just be the goated scary girl, guys. Oh my God, this huge announcement. You guys, God got me and Dennis new matching 64-ounce Yetis, and I was really emotional about it. We had our other water bottles for like maybe five years or something, and those were some beaters. Those are some like $15. And the only reason that we got rid of it is they don't retain like they're just kind of shitty. So we use them. Like mine hasn't retained cold in like well over 8 months, and it sucked so much because my ice melts immediately. telling myself, I kept telling myself, I said, no, 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 because I'm such a sustainable person. And I was like, it really is such an investment, and we love Yeti. We love the gang. So yeah, it was just really special. So this is like a 100-year water bottle. A lifetime investment. But it's like making me so happy. This is genuinely the perfect time. Perfect gift. So she's blank now. I'm sure she'll maybe have a bunch of art stickers on it. Who knows? So yeah, I'm really happy about that. Sorry, I was like so dehydrated. Okay. So, Cancer season 2026, I figured maybe I should just do like a little message and see what God has for us. Wouldn't that be kind of fun? I feel like it would be fun. Because I think, yeah, I'm kind of in a really cool space too, is I've been really getting better at trusting spirit. It's been really good. My electroshock like roller coaster therapy has been really cool. We've been going to Six Flags kind of like at a weekly capacity to like get better at riding roller coasters. Like that's what we've been on, and it's been really helpful for my chakra system. It's like actually like something I'm trying to study right now. But yeah, so it's been really amazing, and I've just found that I've been becoming like someone who's like much more trusting in spirit, like really trusting, like actually it's not going to be bad, it's going to go great. So that's been really helpful for me. So I think it's going to really affect how I read for you guys, because I don't have to come. A lot of times I've watched myself as a reader over time, and sometimes, you know, it started off, it could be very painful. Like sometimes I have to really go through a spirit message, like to be able to derive like, well, this just happened to me, but now because of the trust and the flow, and because I don't have to necessarily put myself as the person that's going to source the experience, like I can really just trust that, like I don't even have to know if this, because it used to be like if it was I started this, but it's like it's happening to me, that's why I'm telling you about it. And so, but now it's just like truly just like so many upgrades in terms of it. So it's like, it's just, I have a lot more trust, and it's great. But yeah, let me go through and make sure these are all upright. You guys get some water and chill. So yeah, just more things. I hope that maybe you see like a difference in my demeanor. I do really try to get better at these things as well. I think that's a part of it. I think one of the biggest downfalls about the sort of globalization of like, metaphysical practitioners' work via like Wi-Fi, the internet, is that some of our stuff can become a vacuum, because it is possible to do spiritual work for the globe or for the planet or for any audience that you don't even have to have like a finite region for, and kind of go in circles. So I don't want my work to ever become circular. I really do genuinely want these to always be timeless messages. So I just want you guys to know, like, that is something that I don't really want your feedback. I just want you to know I understand that feedback would be concurred at all times. And so I'm just trying to do my part. To give you something, because this space is different than any other space, and so I try to keep the integrity there. Another thing I would really say, since we just passed Father's Day, and one of the best things that I was reflecting on, one of the most amazing things about my husband and I recommitting ourselves in faith, sort of like recommitting to crystalline consciousness, Christ consciousness, my dad, rejoining my dad's ministry. I mean, like I am my dad's ministry, but me and Dennis became a new member over the summer, and one of the best reasons we became members is because my dad is such a phenomenal educator. He's so cool. He's a Libra Mars, and he's so Libra when he's teaching. And I said this when it was happening, but I do not think that if it wasn't for getting to see my dad 2025 during my homeless era, but also when I was building Tethered Studios at that time when I was building it, and just getting to have some time to watch him work, it was really special, because I am doing my spiritual work. Like, he always would tell me, he's like, you're not gonna be able to run this, you're gonna be preaching like me one day, you're not gonna be able to outrun it. And I used to be super stressed out, because I was like not a Christian, so I just like didn't know like what the fuck to do about it, because I was like, I don't want to be a Christian preacher though, so I don't know Like, I love God now, but I'm like not trying to be a priest. So I was like, so I used to be stressed out about it. Now that I'm in my Christian preacher era, lovingly, no, I'm just kidding. But now that I'm in this era, I'm like, oh my God, I really, because I got to go sit back with my dad and I like watch my dad work with others. He's such a great group facilitator. That's like one of the things. Another thing, Sherman Ray also had like a job, like has had worked in industries. And I know a lot of you guys don't know what he did other than being amazing peach, pumpkin, popular guy. But he also, well, Sherman Ray, Jesus Lord, the guy was in the hospitality industry. He like managed the Ramada for fucking eons. So me and Sherman had a sweet life with Zach and Cody childhood. Yes. Yeah. My mom, I'd stay with my mom before like we could afford daycare. I would go stay with my mom all day on her shift. Well, like way through her shift. And my dad would pick me up and he would pick me up from dropping my mom off halfway through the day. He'd pick me up on his way to go get Sherman from middle school. We'd come back. He'd check us into a room. We'd play GameCube. We'd play like Sega Genesis or some shit. Go to the pool. Go to the fucking lobby, go hang out with my dad, just like, that was my backdrop. So like the hotel, that's why hospitality is a big aspect of Tethered Studios. That's why making you feel like, right? Making you feel welcome. That's also a big part of it. So that's a big thing too. It's like my dad is a preacher, but he has a huge hospitality background. So like huge in that. Another big thing, he used to run a liquor store, so shocky. So another big reason why I love my wholesale guys, I love my merchant guys, and the liquor store also brought him, he also used to manage gyms. So World's Gym, shout out World's Gym, the OGs, 80s and 90s, was the manager, kind of like ambassador for World's Gym, kind of got connected into the performance beverage industry, like, you know, athletic performance beverage industry, kind of became what we would call like for Sobe Lifewater. Yeah, he was like the guy. So he was like Gold Gym's like ambassador. He was like Sobe Lifewater's ambassador. And then he just did entrepreneurial stuff. He also like worked in the produce section at Albertsons when my mom left his ass. So, you know, everything tracks with me. I'm going to be exactly like the nigga. So anyways, that's a little bit on what Sherman Ray does. But one of the things I loved in 2025, he's so cool. He's a really cool teacher. He's just like very like cool when he's teaching people because it's very different. It's like someone who's like meant to be a teacher. So anyways, I feel like I was getting all these wonderful memories of my dad this past summer 2025, last summer, when me and Dennis were just getting to watch him teach. And he's so amazing at his job. He's so good at his job. Like I said, I'm not even a Christian and my dad's like amazing. He's like, you would love going into Spirit of Truth. He's just awesome. So anyways. So yeah. So I feel like anyways, but God was like lovingly being like, there's just so many things about right now for me that are, and I'm saying all this for me, so it's not really for you girls, but for me to mark that this is where I've been at in my spiritual evolution. There have been so many things at this time that have been going on that are keys for other things. Like the place that Dennis and I can kind of do whatever we want now. We're like in a regular era, so like we kind of can pick up the prop. And so now we're kind of like really like working and dancing with Spirit. But like, for example, there's just like beautiful confirmations, like, you know, for example, the name of the apartments that we lived in that sent us into a 3-year homelessness cycle afterwards, after losing that house or apartment complex, is the name of the complex that we're actually about to sign on with right now. And we could go with kind of anyone. We've seen it's like I mean, you know, life is just life. You just pick which kind of feels good. But, you know, so when you're not on survival, it's not like anything hard. And we're just like getting our place before we do our permanent move-in thing while we're building all these other things. It's like, you know, we get to give ourselves some time to just like chill and just finish out our 20s, like relax, not really working on anything too big. I think the formula is finally just getting to the place where it's like automated. So it's just been nice to really have more time for like love and presence with one another, because we're not like trying to prop up Dolphin Boy Records and Tethered Studios on top of that. So yeah, there's just been a lot of what I would say, a lot of keys, like past experiences that are undoubtedly, God is trying to tell you, like, either way, just know there was no need to go around that situation because it brought you right to where it is. And if you're someone who's proud of who you are in this moment, being brought right to where you are, it feels amazing. Another side note, that's kind of not going to really work either in 2026 moving forward, where it's kind of like you can spiritually bypass anymore by being like, well, it doesn't matter because we're here now. Like, but you got to be thankful for everything because you got you to where you are. well, this is where the part, because when girls start like offing themselves and shit, like you gotta remember some people really don't like themselves though. So you can, getting to where you are and all of your experiences leading you to right where you're standing right now is only a good thing, is only something that you should just be like, all right, well, it worked out, if you actually like where you ended up. Because I think a lot of you, that is kind of a big part of it right now, where there's just like, I wish that the celebrations, like sometimes, you want to do things like, I just want to be like proud and I just want to be happy, and I just like, because I get it, like you guys are probably like me, like I knew myself to be a genuinely happy person, but the way that my life has colored me, I'm not genuinely like living out a lot of the times the happiness that I feel like I really came in this bitch with. Like I really came in this bitch like being a laugher, a goofy giggler, and experiences have turned me into someone who has to protect that, because it isn't safe. Like it's not that I have this personality for no reason. There are the majority of people are unwell, deeply unwell, and deeply disturbed in ways that are crazy. You know what I mean? And Spirit just told me that, Alexis, you're opening up the portal, so keep going. So I'm really feeling like I'm reaching my flow state, so thank you guys. But yeah, for me, it's kind of just like this never-ending dance right now, where I am just genuinely trying to get people to understand that the whole point of anything that you do is about you. And the things that you really love, want, desire, whether you allow yourself to have them, whether you block them off and suppress them, it doesn't matter. Whatever those things that you really want, you have to understand the wanting is the first half of the thing. The second half of the thing is your ability to maintain it. And that doesn't have to do with how well you've studied it, how well you can try to align yourself to it, or try to present yourself or be available in the ways they ask you to. The only way to obtain the love you desire is to give a high quality love to yourself. That's just the thing. I think all of you did everything right. I think a lot of people in Gemini season and Cancer season were really depressed because some things didn't land. Some things even maybe cut off or didn't connect or won't connect any further. And if you are sitting with that right now, it is because of your self-love. You probably did something that also didn't reflect that you have enough self-love to responsibly participate in the things that you desire to participate in. So I think there's a lot of that feeling where it's like people are finally realizing, I thought I was just going to be able to get to that point, kind of not caring how I dealt with it along the way, and just be like, but we're here now. And I didn't realize that the thing that I wanted might not even like where I am. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, this is what Spirit told me to tell you. The analogy is, this is just it's kind of like this. Someone, imagine getting proposed to, but it's like the thing that someone thought was going to be a good idea for you. It's like the Queen of Wands is like, I really don't like that though. That actually wouldn't really be that for me. Do you get what I'm saying? I think the Queen of Wands is like, yeah, you could be great, perfect, and aligned, but there's something about there was like this, it's not a false start. It's like it's not going to be able to start, because again, it's almost like you look foolish. I think there was something that just like really made someone look very foolish, because I think they were very certain that something was going to go a certain way. And I think people are learning something about prophecy. I think there's something too to be said about a lot of people have been, I think they were telling the world that they were there's a lot of people who thought that some of their gifts and abilities, maybe that God has given them over time, they knew they were different, or they could see things, or they have something acute. I think they really developed a complex about those sorts of things at this time. People who do that, those people who've created complexes about like simple shit like God giving you a singing voice, or God giving you like an ability to see a vision or something, right? I think a lot of those people who made it ego about that also have had things revoked that really showed them just how like not unique. What they built a lot of ego around, making themselves feel like they were so much better than other people because they thought they had this like very niche thing, and the thing that they have is like basic intuition. Like what I'm kind of getting a weird channel does is like there's like a wave of energy where it's like you're actually deeply misaligned. So you could, there's like yeah, that could be something you could develop in yourself, but from where it stands, what your power really is only powerful because you're around a lot of non-power. So you look really powerful amongst the non-power. And I think a lot of those people have been entered to the next pool, the next pond. It's bigger, right? When we graduate. So I think there was just like a lot of graduation energy as well over Gemini season. Naturally so, there always is. But there's a lot of graduation energy, but I kind of feel like this energy of like when you're graduating and it's a little bit solemn because it's like, it's a graduation where it's like, yeah, this is, maybe I got my associates out of the way, but now I got to finish the rest of the degree. So it's like, I just feel like it's someone who thought that my graduation and maybe even your journey to graduation, because you were always surrounded by things that you were always, it was just like you were really isolated. That's what I mean. It's like this feeling of like, oh, isolation is really making me understand things in a different way, because it can really be a hell of a drug. You could think you're really popping, but you're just alone. Like, you're just the only popping thing around. So then when you get, because I think a lot of people get brought to popping stuff and they just get deflated. Like, they just get like the tire, all four of your tires flattened. Because I'm getting that you were only known or able to be popping because you're around deadness. Like, there's just like nothing there wouldn't even be. Because this is what I try to tell you girls. This is why you should go to academia, because academia is the first place you're going to learn. I'm not smart. I do not know what that's what I mean. Because when you get into an academic space and into academia, yeah, there's always a much smarter person than you, for sure. Yeah, for sure. That's the only way we define intellect. It's basically just an iron sharpening iron. You never arrive anywhere with intellect. It's only when you take your intellect out of academia that intellect stands alone. But in academia, it's fluid. You're just always ironing it out and kind of building it and sharpening it. It can't really arrive. And so that's kind of what I mean. I just feel like some people did some really foolish shit. And I think it's foolish in terms of how it relates to God. So you looked like a fool to God because, again, Queen of Wands. I get that this is someone being foolish because you're coming out of your eyes. And God is asking you to look at how your life feels for you. Cancer season, we just got into it. So you are being asked to really look at how your life feels for you. Many of you were and are still or have been in huge, massive, long cycles up in your soul and incarnation where it's just like, you're still doing foolish shit because of what it looks like to people. And I think you got met because if you've only derived your power because you look better than other people, what you have looks better than other people, even if you, because for a lot of you too, there could be people where it's like, you really have the data to back it up, but you only see the amount of empirical data for what it looks like. So you don't even take all the value out of how much you've really already proven you can do because you're also materialistic. You're all getting grouped together right now. And you're all at the materialistic party in the old world of the collapse. And what I think you're all seeing right now is that we're all exactly the same and we're all being grouped in here and we all kind of look like fools right now because, again, we thought everyone was going to want what we're doing. And very quickly, not only are you seeing almost like a very scary mirror, but it's like, wait, I think we're the ones at the karmic party. And you would only know because the people who are not, so there's like two running timelines. The karmic party and the divine party, they could look the same as also what I'm hearing Spirit say. It almost might be freaky because it's like mirrored. It's like, it looks exactly the same. But the question would be how you feel. And I feel like the people who are actually in divinity are triggering and challenging the fuck by just existing because they can stand on the simple truth that it's like, the divinity path starts at the source. So people who are on a divine path right now, their shit goes all the way back like a wave cap. People who are not on source are doing something or are telling a story that started at some point. So basically these are friend groups that are together and it's like, I met this person 5 years ago and I'm doing something and I'm aligning, we're going to go party right now together. Instead of the divine path, which is like every party I've ever gone to is connected to every party my mother's ever gone to and every party her mother's ever gone to, right? There's two different timelines going on right now. So just wanted to clarify that. But yeah, there was a bit of a message where it's like, you look really foolish because I think someone thought they were really spiritually powerful. They've never been told they're not spiritually powerful. And I think because of the manifestation abilities that people have had, like, again, the illusionary stuff that you could create visually. I think people think that because you can, the visual realm is just as like card tricky as any other sensory realm, right? And so I just think some of these girls are kind of shocked that like God's fucking with the visual realm right now, right? Deep fakes, AI, God's fucking with, because God's trying to loosen y'all up. AI is exactly warranted right now because you guys are over relying on your eyes. You are. It's your karma to have stuff that you can't tell with your eyes if it's real or fake. Listen to your body. An AI Drake song is not gonna, it doesn't sound this, you can feel it, but it's not how it feels. The pitch might be the same, the vocalics might be mimicked, but it's not gonna feel the same, right? Because everything runs on soul energy, it runs on source. Okay, so that's what I'm saying, girls. That's what I'm saying, girls. You just know. But again, you girls only feel the threat because you're actually not sharpening. So when you hear fucking Sis and all these girls screaming and crying, it's like you're being asked to upgrade your spiritual discernment. Not to sit here and make an enemy and say like these guys are bastard bitches. The only bastard bitches are the people who refuse to discern. I call anyone my enemy who's gonna sit there and lie and not discern. You don't become my enemy by being mean to me. You don't even become my enemy by trying to kill me. No, I respect that. That's a good one, because I would try to kill you too. No, you become my enemy by sitting here being like, I don't care who you are. I don't care how you got mixed up with them. If something is ass and you sit there and say it's not ass, that's why you're my op. Because why can't you tell it's ass? What's wrong with you? Right? Okay, you get what I mean? So that's kind of the vibe right now. Anyways, let's see what we got going on. Cancer season. Yeah, that's a... Okay, wow. 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 So, here's the deepest message here, the highest, because there's so many things I could talk about with this. There is a wave that is about to hit the collective. And it is exonerating what makes a connection. Remember when God says biblically, 2 or more, 3 or more coming into agreement in my name can create magic, can create. So when we talk about divine counterparts, souls that are the contemporary counter to the other, the composite to the other type of energy, I think it goes without saying for anyone who can connect with this energy, it's an A-B conversation. This is the divine masculine, almost clinically, almost surgically. This is genuinely the biggest plot twist of all time. Oh my God. So it's like the 2 of Cups is an A-B conversation. It doesn't matter if the world sees, oh my God, I'll use me and Dennis as an example. It doesn't matter that you guys think we look like soulmates, or that you feel moved by the art we make, or, oh no, that's real, that's legit. It doesn't even matter. The one thing that I'm going to tell you right now is there's anything outside of that connection that can determine what goes on the inside of this connection. That is how you know it's 2 of Cups. So when you are dealing with, in your own personal life, relationship dynamics that are truly 2 of Cups, where it's truly someone who's meant to be on your path, you're meant to be mixing with, you are equals. You are looking at something that feels like equality to you. Whole sovereign equality. Your cup is just as filled as mine. That's all that... No matter what these 2 have been going through, they knew that at the end of the day, the covenant is about whether or not we can make the partnership. These 2, so there's a, because I just feel like there's, the reason it's King of Swords, the reason it's coming in so clinical, surgical, calculated. It's like, it's almost like, I don't think anyone expects this. It's the divine masculine within all of us, but it's the divine masculine in these partnerships that's going to be almost surgically removing whatever. I almost hear, it's like what I'm saying is like, there's the divine masculine, and this could be funny because again, in a soulmate dynamic, for example, if you're talking about astrology energy, so you could even be in a partnership, and when I say divine masculine, I'm not even talking about the person with a dick or something, because it could be any gender person. Sometimes the divine masculine frequency in the energy, like for me, I'm an Aquarius, so that's a masculine energy. Dennis is a Capricorn, technically a feminine energy. So it could even be like in that dynamic, it might be me who's like doing some sort of surgical removing, where the masculine energy would be the one in that dynamic, even though it's me, right? Is the one who's doing something like removing. There's a spiritual truth that, it's not even a spiritual, their spiritual truth is the only sword that could surgically remove what needed to be removed. I almost get that something is being this is a lot Cancer season, because I think this is someone who is the Two of Cups and is the Two of Cups by God, chosen by God, not by choice, not even by, because it's not anything they're doing. It's like, I don't know why you have the password. This is exactly what a soulmate frequency would do, though. When Dennis came into my life, there were no closed doors. My prickliest, scariest relative or friend or darkest secret or darkest past, somehow with Dennis, everybody fucked with it. It didn't matter. It literally didn't matter if me and this bitch hate each other. Like, didn't talk to my dad for 10 years, proper pulled up with my husband, and it's like, that would be a sticky situation just even for me to confront. But it was like Christmas. It's like, that's what I mean. It's like, you could have, because I feel like someone's like, I have a very particular life and I know that. I knew for someone to penetrate my Two of Cups, you'd have to be good with all of this. Because I'm getting, it's a King of Swords frequency. So it's like one of those situations where it's like, dude, do you understand? Because these are people who've already built their lives. These are unions that are coming in, and it would be difficult because it's like there's already this kingdom under my feet. So you can't be the thing. Cancer season, it's like, I think everyone knows what kingdom you've actually built. This could be a piss poor kingdom. I don't mean people who run like businesses. No, I mean like the world you've created is where this energy comes out of you. So that is where you are going to be at this time, essentially understanding what actually is Two of Cups for you. It's the thing that makes it in the kingdom you actually run, the thing that mirrors that it has the capacity to actually, it reflects exactly, again, you're gonna have the people. That's why I'm saying a lot of partnerships are going crazy right now, because there's the karmic illusions, the spells from the Jezebels and the Beelzebubs, they broke. And the issue with that was, it's like literally like these people that were placeholding and doing nasty, nefarious, demonic sexual harvesting and all this stuff off of people, keeping attention and desirability politics, blah, 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 at a spiritual level, these demon frequencies. What they were trying to keep people from remembering is that cognitive dissonance cannot be the way forward. You can only date someone. That's what I'm saying. There is no everybody wants to date Selena Gomez. There is no everybody wants to marry Rihanna. That doesn't make sense, because we're all very specific people, and so is Rihanna. It doesn't even matter if your talent is widely shared. That's why I'm telling you, I'm not deflating anything and like sacrificing. I'm saying like it was an illusion that talent can make you more compatible. Like, just because y'all like a song I make does not mean that it actually even has to put you closer, because the thing is, everything has really deep meaning. So we're all listening to music very differently. Like, it's all shifting right now, because songs that are the source of the song is actually what's going to be taken in. So there could be a #1 hit right now that's about to just like fall off, or people are not going to be able to listen to it right now, because if that, so say that #1 hit is written about something mad specific, but because of the industry, because of the illusions, we didn't connect deeply to the real meaning of what someone was saying. Like, when people realize fiction is fake and like these artists are, it's not hyperbole. Like, this nigga, if he's rapping about shooting it, he really shot him. You know what I mean? It's like, so when people realize like, oh wait, I'm not disassociating anymore. Like, do I really want to be aligning with this? Because that's how serious things are. I think that's what's happening. Is like someone is also having this massive like awakening, where they're understanding it's like there isn't any other option for you build love and romance out of your spiritual truth, not the other way around. You don't go try to find love. You don't go try to find love. I told you that. You wait for that nigga to come shoot you, because it's intense. I don't know why you girls were always in the street trying to manifest love. That's why you have so many demon possessions and you're not ready for the real Two of Cups, because love comes and finds you, baby. It does. It does. It comes and mirrors the love you start giving yourself. So there ain't nothing to go right out in the street and try to go grab because you're going to pick up a Beelzebub. But I feel like this is someone who has like had a bunch of awakening. This King of Swords, again, the masculine frequency had a lot of awakenings. It's like, I would only be embarrassing myself to say that my cup, my sacred cup, should be offered to anything that does not mirror my spiritual kingdom, not this fleshly kingdom. No, my spiritual truth. My partner has to mirror my spiritual truth. Any partner, and again, gay side, we're not doing the boxes, because at the end of the day, you are meant to, your life, you could have a lot of souls that you're meant to do a lot of stuff with. I'm not saying loosey-goosey. I'm not saying you need to know that. I'm saying soulmates are a big deal. You know that now. They're not like, you're not gonna have like 50 million soulmates. It's not everybody's path, okay? It's not. You're lucky if you even get one. Sometimes you're just here to evolve your soul independently. Like, not everybody's on a partner journey. But if you do get in a partnership journey, that's why I don't close it off, because I'm like, it's so rare to find someone that you feel two of cups with. I would never not be open to that. If I genuinely felt two of cups with that, I would never be like, I would never align with a sexuality that would not allow me to be like, I genuinely have this, because this isn't everywhere. This is not, oh, I want to have this. That has nothing to do with it at all. When you have a two of cups situation, this basically means you both mirror and can get renewed from spirit in the same way. Your renewals, you renew one another. These are the connections where it's like, when I interact with your energy, it starts something new in my life. That doesn't even have anything to do with like pleasure or anything. When it's gonna feel sensational because it feels great to be administered new life. These are the connections that I really suggest you guys make. My business of soulmates, my business of lovers, because I only want to be around people that inspire me, can inspire new life in me, because all life cycles, they come to an end and reboot. But if you don't have enough people that are actually two of cups around you, you don't get the reboot. So a lot of you have a lot of people around you, a lot of friends around you, but the hard truth you're having to stomach right now is it actually isn't about their personality. It's not about people calling people bad people, but in their spirit. If they're not actually aligned on your walk, they're not going to rejuvenate anything within you. They're not going to be able to inspire your next new chapter. So you literally will go and do the same thing, and you're like, this isn't expanding forward. Now, you're also going to starkly realize, if you are in misalignment like that, your soulmate is really going to call you off that x-axis and onto the y-axis. It's going to have you really look up, because they're going to be almost mirroring you, but in the heavenly realm, sort of. And then they're also going to really, it's like, they really marry you, but then they're also going to really like let you know that it's like, but when they do it, it's just like, it expands and it's unique and it's not the same and it's not stuck. Because I just feel like there's something about the reason we had to almost like surgically remove or clinically remove this entity, because it was spiritual. Like, spirit had to literally like do an incision, but it's your two of cups that was able to actually, because some of you, again, like I say, it's almost like this masculine frequency had to kind of like come and like remove some of these maladies, because you would have, this is definitely Cancer season though. Like, I will say, the masculine is coming back around with a truth that clears it, and it does a massive amount of clearing for the divine feminine. Yeah, it does. Because to honor her truth, the truth, because again, I just think up until this point, up until Cancer season, it's just been an AB conversation, and they know that. That's why so much aspects of it is always just like, I'm talking to you. I'm tired of talking to all these bitches. Because I think that's the other thing too. If you're around a soulmate connection, they're having an AB conversation. Like, if you're around me and my husband, we're talking to one another all the time. And so to continuously be like thinking that their gaze is on anything, like what they're doing isn't about you. I think that's also very much being like shown. I said that part of that kind of being a fool. I think some people might like really not, this truth is full grown. These two cups are full grown. Ain't no lightweight over here. That's what I'm also saying. I'm like, Cancer season, I feel like, is for like the grown love, the mature two of cups. The two of cups is like, this has been, you can't come move this. Maybe that's how that's what the connection says. It's like, everything's gonna have to move around because I'm not going anywhere. That's what these two of cups are like. It's like just very, it's like the sword of a spiritual truth, but I'm getting like boulder energy. It's like a spiritual truth that like cuts like a boulder, because when that might come down, it ain't picking it up. It's too heavy. When you get cut for real, it's like you get cut for real. You got surgically removed off my shit. I feel like Spirit had to do an emergency surgery. I don't know what the fuck I'm getting. It's crazy. Cancer season is so like, And I think I prophesied this last summer about how romantic it was, but I feel like it's like I feel like last summer we were learning how to just build romance with these partnerships, and by this summer it's like time to just, I just feel like this is like mad proposal energy, brother. It's like someone's like, I have a whole world for you ready now. And it's a little weird because, like I said, I feel like it goes from summer to summer. I feel like last Cancer season, the romance that you were creating was like this just new gridded romance. It was like just about getting you introduced, getting your feet wet to like what would be romantic in that connection. Fast forward a year to this Cancer season. I feel like this Cancer season, I don't know, good for you girls. I mean, expect a lot of courtship energy. Because I feel like these people, I just heard it's like 6 months by Capricorn season. It's like someone's like, yeah, because by Christmas, someone's just like, I just see a lot of people spending like their first Christmas where they actually feel like they're spending like or I don't say Christmas, but it's like the holidays, the winter solstice time frame. It's like by 2026, it's like this person just like really sees it as possible to be like, maybe I'm actually gonna spend my first, holiday cold winter not burrowed by myself, or like maybe I just felt like this person saying like the fireplace will be warm. The fireplace will be warm. Yeah, it's just beautiful. This is masculine it looks like someone comes into union because someone is like, the path that I want to go down with you is a divine union path. Yeah, it's a divine union path. Yeah. Two of Wands. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's very beautiful. It's just like, yeah, you're like someone's whole world. And this feminine has not been revealed. Blind, like, do you know you're reading your own story type of thing? Like, do you know, and type of shit. Surprise type shit. Cancer season. This is so crazy to me. Okay, this one's for my schizophrenic bitches. But, so here's the story of what the recent past is. This divine feminine is going to be very surprised. Not just surprised because it was like, that's why I had to take a second to listen to the story from God. Not surprised because this is a story of like someone doing like some sort of surprise proposal, like, oh, all along I was going to surprise you with a proposal. No. They're surprised because this is the instance where it's like, you thought you were like the most hated person, because the divine feminine here, basically her job was to deal with all the 9 swords. So like, you don't know this, but at a higher level, this is a magician who is trying to figure out who is for them. Like, they're trying to manifest what is for them, okay? and it looks like it's in partnership. They're trying to, I think this magician knows they're supposed to have this love. So they've been like, I'm going to call it in. And I don't think the magician or the person that actually is this magician's love knew at all that essentially, well, because they didn't know who the person was, they just know they're supposed to have that. Like, they don't know how or who it is, but they know they're supposed to have this, like, role filled, essentially. It's like, knowing I'm supposed to have some sort of union, knowing I'm supposed to, why would I not be the one to have, or why? This is someone who, again, a magician. So a magician is someone who's like high ranking, they can create on the earth plane. So this is someone who's like, why can I create everything, but I can't create the love and the partnership and the commitment I want? This is someone who's like, I deserve this. This is definitely someone who's like, no, I deserve a certain type of love. And this is also someone who's like, when and if I want something, right? It's like, I feel like I should deserve it. I should have that, right? If not from a toxic space, but from like you have to have enough confidence to understand this. Like, if you want something, you also have to feel like you're deserving of it. Like, you know what I mean? So I think this is definitely a magician who's like, I definitely know I would be deserving of good things. I know I'm deserving of like this spouse or this is like deep commitment. It's so it's like spouse or like partner or like partner. This could be business. It doesn't have to be romantic, but it's like, you know, I deserve this mirror, this Two of Cups experience, right? Is what they knew. And I just don't think that they knew the person that it actually really is. That's the big reveal, because the big reveal of who it actually is actually kind of a surprise to everyone. Not to the A-B conversation, because I think these two were technically always having a conversation. But I do genuinely think that it is still like, wow, it really... Because there's something about like knowing that you can have you could be like telepathically connecting to something, but then there's also like, are you really supposed to be the nigga that I'm supposed to like build my life with, for real? That's crazy. That's just like a different, and I feel like the reason it feels super crazy is, I'll say this. The person, this is kind of a fucked up story, because this is a magician though, who it's very much exactly reading for exactly what happened with me and Dennis. Dennis was a magician hidden in plain sight. What was really happening was he was calling in his wife. But technically what had happened was he gets institutionalized, sold into child slavery, gets sent to rehab in Austin or in Manor, is ripped out of Atlanta, loses all of his stuff, loses his inheritance, loses fucking everything, loses like life, loses connection, no phone, no nothing, gets sent to a hybrid, you know, whatever, right? And it's like, it was the type of thing for him, he's a magician, that made his dating life seem impossible. He was like, there's no way with the empire I'm creating, with what I'm creating in my life right now, that a partnership would be possible. But he definitely is a certified lover boy. Like, Dennis is definitely someone in his spirit. Like, there's just certain men who, like, I feel like they just know, like, I'm supposed to, like, give my love to something. You know what I mean? They know if they're, like, a partnership type of dude. You know? And that's what I'm getting here. It's like, it would be like a masculine magician frequency who's like, I am definitely a partnership type person. It does not have to be gender. It doesn't have to be a man doing this. It could be any gender. But the masculine frequency is like on that. It's like, I am in a mess right now. It's almost like love is, the desire for love came from within at a time that was mad inconvenient. Like, just not inappropriate, like not like at all. It's like weird. It's like, I really want a partner right now. It's like being like, I want to have someone to spend my life with right now. But it's like, I don't even know why I'm saying something like that, because what about what I've been building in my life and how I've set this shit up is going to allow for anyone to even come in here. So this isn't actually, and I think this is where the confusion was, because this isn't even actually a magician who has a lot of options. They don't have a lot of serious options because of the fact that it's not really possible because of the establishment of what they've already built up. It's like, you'd have to know, because you can't force compatibility. So like, if you have your family life set up and you have a specific way that runs, you have your business set up a specific way, you've got all of your go-tos, your ends, it's like, you'd have to be okay with all those people, because those people aren't going anywhere. So it's like, this is like somebody who's like this. So when Dennis was in rehab, it was like, well, she'd have to be cool with picking me up from a halfway house. She'd be cool with my rehab friends, because I don't have any friends outside of rehab. So it was all this stuff that he was like, there's no way this is going to work with this girl. And he was so... It was really hard for him first. I mean, it didn't really last long for us, because we were lucky enough to be like in each other's face when we met. Like, we met on Tinder, so it was like we were already like ready and available in front of each other. But this dynamic can be playing out across any grid, so it looks like that exact story where it's like, I think also, you know, when I met Dennis, I was in a very Nine of Swords place. Like, I was like, there's so much, I felt like I was just really negative. You know, I didn't really see myself as a positive person because I felt like I always had to deal with dark stuff. And I feel like that's exactly what's happening in this union. The feminine here is like, you guys are both surprised that God is healing you both with love. Is the answer to both of these people's conundrum right now is a divine love. They deserve it because the divine feminine has had such a negative life, and she's just always having to deal with negativity, and she's just like, sorry that I always have to be talking about negativity, but it's like being brought to me. I'm actually a happy person. And then it's like the masculine frequency is like, I was too good for my britches at manifesting, and I might have manifested myself into a hellscape where no woman or man or anyone in between can reach me because I've manifested too much. And I think this person was just freaked out because they were like, I know you're supposed to go for equality in marriages or in partnerships or even in business, right? So this is someone who even feels like I don't have a lot of business partnership opportunities because some people don't have the same size vision as me. Maybe everything is always too small or whatever. That's what I'm saying. Because this is someone who's a magician. This is someone who's like, I could create unlimited. And I think that's another big part of it. This magician is like, I don't want to be like around frequencies where it's like, my capacity, I feel like someone who's like, I have a matter of fact, it's an unlimited amount of gas in the tank, so I definitely wouldn't want to be with someone who like it runs out with either, like, you know. And I feel like that's the part of this that feels very revelatory, because I feel like what both of these people have to accept now, there's nothing else to accept other than it's like, you deserve this. You get to accept that you get this divine love now for you. This is the exact grid, and you two get it, because you two get to be each other's gift out of the fact that like the divine feminine always has a negative outlook, doesn't feel good about themselves because they're always dealing with so much onset negativity when they really are just love. And the masculine is like gifted someone who, ironically enough, has built exactly the same size what they've built because they just had enough motivation to. This is someone who's like, I gotta clear all this. So they built something, they create a lot. They do a lot of transmutation, so that kind of makes them an equal to this magician in a weird way. Even though the situation may be like someone's like, I'm coming from bondage and you're coming from creative power and creative ability. And so it might seem like these two are Two of Cups, but it's not gonna speak, because when people are really Two of Cups, there's nobody can even say anything. It's like, it's real. It's legit, you know? But I just feel like the feminine does not, I think the part of this that feels like a revelation is like, she doesn't know that, like, that's why she had to keep trusting God, because she was like, I feel like I'm just mouthing off. I feel like I'm not the one. I feel like the feminine feels like the Bachelor. It's like, I'm not the bachelorette that they're going to pick for the Bachelor. I'm not. He's not going to pick me. He's not, because I'm too particular and I'm too pissy and he's not. That's how I feel like this divine feminine feels. Why would he pick me? That's how I felt about Dennis. I was like, I looked at him and he was in his perspective, but when I saw him, I was just like, dude, he's like out of my league. It's like, I don't know why he would pick me. King of Swords reversed. So that same King of Swords, I want you to know something. Because I'm just telling a story of like what the cards are saying right now. The King of Swords is making an announcement, Cancer season, about who the Two of Cups actually is for them. And I think they haven't built anything with them. That's why it's also a big message about the King of Swords' true partner is actually going in the pace. The relationship is developing in a speed that the King of Swords really wants to communicate. And I just heard the way it's very me. Like the divine feminine is very slow moving, or it's like just in natural cycles. And I don't think she also is aware that is like a very big compatibility. Like people moving too fast for this King of Swords is like obviously how they know that it's not something that's forever. It can't be their Four of Wands, because their Four of Wands is like, I want stages. I wanted to remember what it was like when I just heard about you. I want to remember what it was like when I knew I was gonna like do something about it. And then I want to remember when you shattered even what I thought I was gonna do. You shattered because you went even past that. I think this is someone who's just like, I think it's genuinely like a King of Swords. It's just like, I really actually just enjoyed falling in love with you every stage. Yeah. Didn't really ever feel the need to rush it because I was actually genuinely having an amazing time the whole time. And I just genuinely feel like this divine feminine, I almost like kind of breaks the tear ducts a little bit immediately. It's like all the work she did on herself to move all this pain, all these 9 swords, was so that she could understand that someone could just come up to her and be like, actually knowing you is nothing but love and pleasure. One of the things that my husband said to me today is that we were like we're just in a really beautiful place right now, and I just feel like we really can feel how much like work we've put in to just like make our marriage just like nothing but a loving space. And he was like, Alexi's like, you've really taught me over these years that like I don't want this relationship to be anything. I don't want to put anything on this relationship that isn't like love. Like I don't want anything other than love outside of this relationship, really. And it's so beautiful to hear him say that because, you know, with his particular wounding, it was really sensitive. When someone's like institutionalized, you know, and like sold into child slavery, you have to be very delicate. And for a long time, I knew that it might literally mean to love the person that I want to love. Like, they might be sick, or like they might like hurt me because of like they have to rebuild their trust, and I don't really want to like make that go faster, you know? And so with Dennis for a long time, like, you know, yeah, I don't know if it was always like the healthiest love, but it was always reflecting me. I think he always like reflected, like every time like Dennis was like his institute, like the rehab situation for him was like really affected his like, it kind of like brainwashed him a lot. And like, because they do a lot of like breaking in the horse tactics there, like to like really destroy you mentally, so that you really think you're just like the biggest piece of shit. And so yeah, for a long time, like he would put a lot of things that aren't love on our relationship because it felt safe for him, you know, felt really safe for him to like work through things or just like feel things or say things or express things. And so sometimes with love, like especially with like long-term partnership, like you really just need a connection with God, because before you go into a relationship with anything, like business, relationship, platonic, romantic, it doesn't matter. Just always ask God, like, what do you want me to do with this relationship, and how would you like it to serve me? And can you please just support me along the way with this relationship? Because not all relationships we don't need to just be like pining after relationships either, because many of you aren't really capable of doing that. You know, you really got to repair the relationship with yourself. And so I just think this is very beautiful, because I think, you know, this is a King of Swords who realizes like, this is the King of Swords going up to the person who really like was intentional for them, like whether they thought they were going to have them or not, like the person who would approach it like, I mean, being in a relationship with you, loving you, caring with you, building with you, creating infrastructure, committing to you, union with you, lifetimes or something with someone. It's like, I think maybe it wasn't in style for again, part of the reason I think this person felt so isolated is because it's like, again, I think that this divine feminine isn't around a lot of people. They're kind of like a loner. They don't have anybody to back up what they believe. You know, they don't have any yes men around them to like, they just say shit and they fucking get attacked. They're just vulnerable. They can be attacked for what they're saying because they don't have any group mentality around them. But man, oh man, do I just feel like this King of Swords is like, honestly, just falling in love with you. It's like, yeah, I think it was an experience that someone just genuinely enjoyed along the route. And without even trying, this divine feminine is their speed. It's not just like I need a bitch who can keep up. It's like, no, I need to be like in a pocket of rhythm with a bitch. Like we're not running a race. We're like the same sound wave. Like, you know, we're like, you know, like we need to be simpatico. We need to be making shapes. We need to be, you know, and yeah, I feel like this is, and I feel like this heals the Wanda Taylor in me, because she didn't understand why my dad picked her. Because she's like, Sherman, I'm chronically overstressed and I don't know why you like me. She just really repulsed love, and I'm so my mom's daughter, because it's just like, she and I both came from so much negativity. And my mom was like, she was so bullied for being like skinny, pretty, well-liked by non-Black people, and kind. like just philanthropic, like just really was good at everything. Like her own brain got her out of Luling. Like she got a full ride to UT, like on a SAC scholarship. Like she's smart. And like so many people were her sisters were so evil to her because they were darker complexion. I mean, they're all dark skinned, but they were even darker complexion. And they were bigger than my mom, like way heavy. They were big girls. My mom was not, and it was just heavy for her. There was just always so much negativity around her. And I think it really influenced her to go down a cycle where she really thought like that she was some sort of negative woman, that she was some sort of low quality woman. And I deal with that because a lot of times I'm speaking up for myself because a lot of these really negative women just want to send their negative bullshit my way. And I don't even know what it's about, really. I feel bad for some of you. You're sitting here saying your children or your kids or whatever, or like you're changing your life or the best thing that's ever happened to you, but kids aren't here to be your teacher. You get taught by your kids all the time. Anything can teach you, but they're not your teacher. That's narcissistic. They're not here to help you learn all the lessons and face all the lessons you didn't face. That could be happening, but they're still a separate child who doesn't want to be they don't want your shit. They wanted you to have them and conceive them with God. They didn't want you to just bring them here and you not read nobody's book, nobody's manual on them. You're not going to tell them how divine they are, how exact their timing, everything. They're not going to tell them any of that because it wasn't. It was all an accident, or it was all a mistake, or it was all manipulation. So it's just like, I feel like there's someone who, I just feel like this woman, this feminine energy reminds me so much of like the energy that I'm really working on right now in myself. Again, kind of circling back to like being a woman and being a mother. And yeah, I don't know. It's like all of those things, I don't really feel a part of those spaces, but I deeply respect them. Because I can only imagine what it must be like when God like calls you to like genuinely be that in the world. Like, you just kind of have to be built like different, I feel like. But I think this is like the woman who's like, oh my God, this is the woman who like sees something. I'm saying a woman because this is just, it's like a woman who sees a man, right? And she's looking at a situation. She's like, I'm so worried about everything that's going on and this 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 and I can't even believe that it's like and I can't even believe this and I was worried about you because look at all this is going on. It's like, and she's over here thinking like I'm probably the most annoying bitch because I'm not the one who's showing him a good time. I'm not showing him the party and the booze. I'm showing him I'm the one worrying about all the stuff. I'm the one that's like, did you get here? Oh my God, I was fucking worried. Are you just like, Jesus Christ, oh my God, what the fuck? And I just It's like I kind of told you guys, but like divine femininity is being so deeply honored at this time because divine femininity kept children safe. Those are the really incredible mothers that have helped raise incredible thought leaders and change makers and accomplished humans and people who make history and change hearts and stuff. Those mothers are so up right now. Those women, whether they went on to be mothers or not, are so up right now because they're the ones that move with urgency. They're the ones that I think this magician would know are for them, because I think most people can't even see everything that's there. Like all these other things that this person could partner with, they don't even know what's all there. And I feel like your anxiety about all the little stuff shows how much you really know this magician really has. And I think they've dealt with a lot of people who have no fucking idea just how much they've created. But you're stressed about it. You're freaking out. They actually understand why you're pissed off. You're pissed off because you're like, you've built so much and it's all not in great shape. Like in terms of their empire, their kingdom isn't in great shape and you're stressed about it. Because you're the only one who didn't come in just lusting. It's like you've already established like it's there. Like I think you as a feminist, like, yeah, I get it. I showed up to The Bachelor. Obviously, I think you're amazing. But at the same time, I'm just so stressed out about all the stuff that's like not healthy or not working or that it's negative. There's so much, it looks like there's just like, oh my God, we gotta clean all this up though. It's like, no, what the heck is this? Too expensive. Do not sit on that couch. And yeah, what are you doing over there? No. Like, I just feel like you don't even, I feel like someone is very blinded. And I think it's something that, and this happens to me and maybe this happens to you guys. It's like, I'm young, I'm 20 something, right? Like, sometimes I don't know what's inside of me. You know, I don't know how my life is going to turn out. And this is why I really appreciate elders or just people who are more conscious than me. Or genuinely, when I say elders, I mean people who are literally older than me. Because they don't have to have conscious awareness, but they can tell me about, like, what they've observed. Like, they have, maybe someone is older and they've observed, like, even if it's toxicity, like, they're like, no, you think you're a horrible, let's say mother, you think you'd be a horrible wife, but you're actually, because I've been around so many horrible wives, because I've seen so many, I've just been around a lot of life for however many years. This is someone who's like, no. I would know because I do have that sort of hindsight. It's like, you actually have all the qualities. And so even if you don't think of yourself in that way as a nurturer, a provider, a strong woman, or a strong feminine, or a visionary, or whatever the high qualities of the divine feminine are, you absolutely are that to this magician. You're also to a cup because you may not know it. You don't, I think this feminine doesn't know that they pick up on, like, every negative thing that goes on, for real. And this magician is like, I know I'm going to have to be in the lab for the rest of my life. So it's really awesome to have someone who's really perceptive to stuff that should not be in my equation. Just feel like this divine feminine is like, their nature is to be like, that shouldn't even happen. No, don't you put that in there. Oh my God. It's like someone is like just naturally able to protect something. The feminine energy is like a natural coding to just like protect whatever this magician creates. Everything the magician creates, somehow this feminine gets like 9 downloads before it even happens on how to protect the play. So here's the part that I also think I need to share with you, that I think the feminine needs to hear. The King of Swords, whether this is happening or not, you need to know this, feminine. The King of Swords is coming in the upright with you to tell you that you, my spiritual truth, that you are not only the love that inspired me to realize that love comes from the truth of who you are, not from like something you get, but you're the love that came to this person. You're the love that exists when they go back to their truth. That's what this King of Swords feels, Cancer season. And that's why Cancer season, union vibes. Now, but to crown it, right, in Cancer, okay? This is what I don't think you see, because it's not physical. So at a spiritual level, the King of Swords reversed. So the King of Swords had to draw his sword to something in Cancer in order for something, for this to manifest. So what that leads me to believe is there was a spiritual We'll have to see, because what I was gonna say is it's 10 of Cups. So King of Swords reverse is crowning this, and then 10 of Cups. I also think, because I was gonna say it could have been like, there could have been a situation where it's like in Kether, someone's spirit has to say no, but I think this King of Swords spirit has always been, its sword is drawn to anything that isn't its 10 of Cups. Like, this is the type of person that, and I don't know how that manifests. I don't know if someone really, but their spirit really always, and maybe they don't know this, because I was going to say 2 things. I was going to say, I think someone had to go back and say no to something in Kether that they spiritually mixed with that actually affected this in the recent past. Yep, yeah. I also just feel like there could have been a bit of a breach. Someone realized this is a little sad because I feel like this is almost like someone realizing like, yep, this is real, because as soon as they did something, as soon as they mixed with something, it like shot 10, like someone is realizing that when they mix eternal energy with something that is not meant to be eternal for them, it like sends like demonic attacks at their divine feminine. That was probably scary to watch. So they had to stop doing that, because this is how God, the divine, like actually got this person to change. If there's actually a concept, because I think this person was dealing with negligence. If there's now actually someone that dies, or like gets, like if something gets hurt, like if there's a bird in a cage that like gets, that like dies every time you eat a forbidden fruit, it's probably going to get you to stop doing the addictive, toxic dance. Because I feel like this King of Swords has to finally draw its sword, but I don't think it was strong enough to draw this sort of spiritual sword until it saw how much suffering it was directly always causing this other thing. And you were freaking out. I think the masculine was freaking out because it's like, am I causing this person like suffering? Well, but how? Why? What? And it woke them out, because then they had to remember who they are and that this is a conflict, right? But the most important thing is like, dude, if we keep, it's almost like God backed them in the corner. It's like, we don't have a choice, because we'll kill this person if we don't do the contract. Because it's showing that like this person, if we don't come together, there's no point in being alive. It's meant to show this masculine that like you have no, your whole point of being alive is giving love to this, getting the love from this. This is the incarnation where you get to let yourself have this thing's love. You should let yourself have the thing's love, whatever it is. Yes, this is the lifetime where you're supposed to have it. It's not off guard. It's not off limits to you. It's not. It's wide open, actually. This is so beautiful. I also feel like it's deeply correlated. When the divine feminine transforms completely into independence, when she becomes completely independent, it's like what gets delivered is the emperor, because she had to be incentivized to become what God wanted her to. Because in these unions, the whole real point of it is for you to become the version of you that God wants you to be. It's great because the reward once you do that is you get to share your love back and forth. That's what I'm saying. Free love, like the free love movement for real moves from that level of vibration where it's like, when I am completely sovereignly connected to source, there is none of this like possessiveness. It's like everything that I get to love in my life, I get to love. It doesn't even matter. I mean, I'm consenting to what I want. Like but if you're moving on feeling, your feelings will tell you what you want to define stuff as. If you feel really deeply about somebody, then maybe you want to define them as something really deep. If you feel shallow about something, or you don't feel that deep about it, maybe you want to define it as something lighter, right? It doesn't matter. But I think it's just about like are you mentally healthy? Are you going to recreate your parents' slavery loops you watch them do? Or are you going to use your brain and learn something new? So I will also say, I just feel like it's like once she becomes completely independent, that's when this emperor gets delivered. This king turns into an emperor. Because she became completely independent. She didn't need it. And that's how because God, the whole point is God wants this to be a love that is the reward. Loving each other really genuinely is supposed to feel like the reward. There's nothing else that's supposed to go on in this relationship. It's not, you don't need each other for anything else. Just each other's love, you know? There's also a huge energy of like the Hierophant. Like the word of God is separate. Like what is godly and what is not godly is the world have split for sure. So if you are in a Hierophant frequency, you are not. That's what I also want to say. It's like, I think this masculine wants you to know you don't blend. You're not blend. Nope. You're not like nope. It's okay. You don't gotta be insecure. Even if I'm around these bitches, even if I'm around, it's not the same. And this is huge because I think this is finally being able to depend on the masculine again. Like, now that he's showing up as an emperor, it's like the divine feminine is showing up in divinity. The masculine is showing up as like, I can't actually handle the empire I run, right? The empire is not striking back anymore. I'm actually like in an expectant stage. I'm excited. I'm on, it's like being on top of it, your empire, instead of being dragged by it. This is powerhouse vibes. And the fear space is so great. The Ace of Pentacles and Judgment. I also feel like this is a deep-seated, this is about not fearing something like this. It comes at a time during Judgment, but that's kind of how the enemy wants you to feel. Like, oh, because you two are getting an Ace of Pentacles in the middle of like Judgment Day. It's a shitty time for everyone else. Not for these guys though. So that's another message. Is like, don't be, don't act nonchalant about the fact that you're getting your Ace of Pentacles right now. It's meant for you to feel. You don't have to fear this. And the outcome is a Four of Swords. Someone is healed. Someone is really healed. I think someone really had to go on a very long journey to kind of, I think, well, actually, that's not even true. Let me tell you what really happened. This is someone who knows they've kind of already been in a Three of Pentacles collaboration because they got the healing either way. This is an energy that's like kind of funky, the order of operations of things, but it's like, you actually really did heal me. So I think this is, I kind of like, when I opened up talking about friendship, I feel like Cancer season, I just feel like being around things that have already healed you, not things that are even just like actively healing you, but like really showing love and really picking those things over the things that haven't. Because this is one thing I would say, I don't think people, like, I'm not really, like, I'm going into regular summer. I'm trying not to build up a life where I got to heal up from too much. Like, I don't need to be too much. It's not the global stage. A lot of things is collapsing. I don't need to take up an ego right now. I don't need to be really famous right now in these years. None of that stuff, right? And so for me, I think a lot of the time, I, like, right now, I'm not really looking to go, like, make a bunch of friends so we can, like, talk about, like, Jesus Christ. That's not really what I'm looking for. I'm really only interested in the things that kind of have always foundationally given me healing. Like, I would be open, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I feel like the true reality of the whole shit is that, like, you're living this life out that is kind of like a remembrance. Then really there are no new friends. It really is just like everything that's ever helped you along, everything that's ever healed you is what you should really, once you get to this kind of place in yourself, be like open to. And so that's kind of how I feel right now. I just feel like, no, babe, this, you get this partnership because this isn't like potential. You already did it. This is definitely like, you get what I'm saying? That's why it wouldn't be anything to fear in terms of the Ace of Pentacles. You already get it because this is already the proof. You've already delivered me. You know what I mean? So maybe you presented a contract, but it's like, even if that was on the table and there was a bunch of bullshit or whatever, it's like, you did the deliverables. You delivered. You know what I mean? You've literally delivered someone. Like, this Three of Pentacles has really delivered someone. This Cancer season, you know, and because the delivering has already happened again, that's why I feel like the feminine's like, oh, I wouldn't even know. I don't feel like a lot of this has really been necessarily communicated physically, third dimensionally. So I feel like the divine feminine might be really looking forward this Cancer season to like a pretty much just like a very grown announcement. It's not even just like an announcement, but it's like, I think it's really just important for the divine feminine to know your masculine is walking around right now like embodying your truth, embodying the Two of Cups. It's not the other way around. It's not any other way. It's, yep. If they didn't know, that's not what's happening now. It's nothing but me being like, my Two of Cups delivered me. That's the story. That's why they're my wife. That's why they're my husband. That's why they're my spouse. That's why they're the love of my life. That's why they're the that's the wave that's cracking down this Cancer season. So I'm feeling really mushy, but there's a whole wave of people who are connecting and building friendships, businesses, art, love together that are just like, I want to love you because you delivered me. So that's awesome. Happy Cancer season. Let me see if I can get a final message from God about anything you want to say, God. Maybe not, but just let me know. So we've got Justice coming in, Knight of Cups, Page of Wands. So there's a Knight of Cups that's approaching this Page of Wands because karma. That's like what they need to do karmically. Flowers in a cup, and I think this Page of Rods is just so like free spirit, kind of almost just kind of like bumping. I'm kind of getting like a whoa. Four of Pentacles. Yeah, Knight of Cups, communication, reconciliation vibes. The intention with this Knight of Cups is like, I want to come up to you and nurture you. I want you to be able to put your wand in this cup and see what we can stir up together. So, happy Cancer season. Love you guys. Peace.